If you have come across this podcast, you're probably hoping for something inspirational or something that is good to listen to, motivational, something that'll change your life. But in this case, I'm just going to tell you why the legal drinking age should be 21. And you may be wondering, no, it should be 18 because people can go off to war and people can vote. So why can't people have a simple beer? If you look into it with a deeper perspective, the legal drinking age of 21 came about when Ronald Reagan was in office. The president, the president who started the 21st Amendment that ended prohibition was indeed Ronald Reagan. Now, for those of you who don't know what prohibition is, prohibition was a time in our U.S. history where all alcohol was banned. People believed that it was wrong. People believed that it wasn't good for you, which in some cases you might agree because there are very bad statistics about underage drinking and drunk driving and deaths due to overdosing on alcohol. And that could be valid. And it's a very arguable claim. But I am here to tell you that the legal drinking age should indeed be 21. Some people also believe that it should be 18 because most kids do go to college at 18 and they're surrounded by underage drinkers and they're surrounded by frat houses and sororities and people who have already been underage drinking. But after researching studies and reasons why the legal drinking age is what it is, I personally believe with the historical decisions that were made for this topic, I believe the reasons were valid, they were imperative, and smart on the behalf of teenagers. When Ronald Reagan was in office, the legal drinking age was 18. And I'm sorry, I take that back. There was a time in U.S. history when the legal drinking age was 18, but the government decided to threaten the states of the United States to reduce highway funding. The government was going to take 10% of their highway funding if they weren't to raise the legal drinking age to 21. And that was due to the reasons because people who were drinking at age 18 were getting into more drunk driving accidents. They were making immature decisions. They weren't being responsible. And I personally believe that the government was very smart to do this because due to psychological studies, people believe the drinking age of 21 should have better results as opposed to the drinking age of 18 due to brain development. Now, 18 is the age where our brain fully develops and you become more mature. But at age 18, you are still surrounded by peer pressure and you are still surrounded by people and environments that are going to make you not think before you do. But then there are also studies that say 21 should be the legal drinking age because that is truly when the brain fully develops. Because you are no longer a teenager, you are surrounded by more adult-like people, you make better decisions due to brain development. Now, if you look at studies of alcoholism and alcoholics, they tend to start drinking when they're younger, when they're surrounded by family problems and friend issues, and they tend to get out of control, as one would say. I am 19, and as a teenager myself, I do believe the drinking age should be 21. Because I personally am surrounded by people who still don't make the brightest decisions, especially when they're intoxicated. They tend to not care. They tend to not care the consequences. They tend to want to say that they only live once, but those decisions are what gets people hurt. Those are the decisions that could potentially ruin your life. And I'm just here to say that we need to take alcohol into a bigger perspective because it is a bigger problem than what people believe it to be. It is it can become addictive, and it can become dependent for certain people, and it ends up being a bigger part of someone's life than more people understand. And due to personal past issues, alcohol needs to be more preserved, and it needs to be not so popular, especially in teenagers. Teenagers think it's cool and they think it's fun until they realize that there's a bigger problem behind it all. And alcohol, it can hurt people, and it can mess up relationships. And like I said, it's just so ignored, I feel, in my personal understanding of it all. It's just such a big problem that no one seems to care about until it starts to really affect them. But why not care now, and why care when it's too late to care? So I'm sitting here today recording this podcast for an English project, but now it's making me become inspired to try and tell people my true opinion on the world and the problems that we need to face before it is too late. So this is why I believe that the drinking age should stay 21 due to brain development and due to teenagers not thinking before they do, and due to drunk driving incidents and consequences that tend to hurt other people other than the person who made the decision. So that is truly why I believe the drinking age should stay 21.